Hello everyone, welcome back to the Learning Hub. At 65, I never expected to discover a secret to happiness that had been right outside my front door, or rather, just beyond it. For decades I engaged in neighborly small talk, attended block parties, and even joined the occasional neighborhood watch meeting. But what I didn't realize was how much those interactions drained me. When I finally decided to pull back and focus on my own life, I experienced a level of peace and happiness I hadn't felt in years. Here's how stepping away from neighborhood interactions transformed my outlook, relationships, and mental health. The pressure of neighborly expectations. Living in a suburban neighborhood often comes with unspoken rules about social interaction, waves from across the lawn, chats over fences, and invitations to gatherings can seem harmless or even enjoyable. But over time, I found myself feeling obligated rather than engaged. I wasn't alone in this experience. Studies have shown that many people, especially introverts, feel stressed by forced socialization. The constant expectation to be available can lead to anxiety and burnout. At my age, I realized I had neither the time nor the energy to cater to these unwritten social contracts. Recognizing the signs of social exhaustion. One day, I found myself dreading a simple trip to my mailbox. The thought of running into a chatty neighbor filled me with unease. I began to ask myself why these encounters felt so taxing. Was it the shallow nature of the conversations? The pressure to keep up appearances, or perhaps the fear of judgment? It dawned on me that I wasn't prioritizing my own well-being. I had spent years accommodating others' expectations without considering my personal needs. I realized that something had to change. The decision to step back. At first, I worried that avoiding neighbors might seem rude or antisocial. But the more I thought about it, the more I understood that prioritizing my peace didn't make me a bad person. It made me a healthier one. I started by setting boundaries. I stopped attending neighborhood events, limited conversations to polite hellos, and created physical barriers, like hedges and curtains, to maintain my privacy. It wasn't about cutting people off. It was about creating a buffer zone where I could breathe. I also found ways to subtly disengage without causing friction. For instance, I began timing my outdoor activities for quieter hours, like early mornings or evenings, when fewer people were around. I incorporated small changes, such as wearing headphones or carrying a book, to signal that I was preoccupied and not available for casual conversation. These subtle cues helped me maintain civility without compromising my solitude. Additionally, I redefined my home environment to be a sanctuary. I invested in comfortable seating, calming decor, and nature-inspired designs that made my space a retreat from external stresses. I started experimenting with meditation and yoga, further deepening my sense of inner peace. My home transformed into more than just a living space. It became my personal oasis, where I could relax, recharge, and reflect without external interruptions. Immediate benefits of boundaries. The results were almost instantaneous. The anxiety I had felt before stepping outside faded away. I no longer felt the need to perform or meet expectations. My home became my sanctuary rather than a stage. Without the interruptions, I had more time to focus on hobbies like gardening, reading, and painting. These activities not only brought me joy, but also gave me a renewed sense of purpose. I also began to reconnect with long-distance friends and family members, nurturing relationships that truly mattered. Mental clarity and emotional growth. Avoiding neighbors gave me the mental clarity I didn't realize I was missing. I spent more time reflecting on my goals and values. Instead of worrying about fitting in, I started exploring what truly made me happy. I took long walks in nature, paying attention to the sights, sounds, and smells that surrounded me. These moments of mindfulness provided a sense of grounding that I hadn't felt in years. I also delved into journaling as a way to organize my thoughts and emotions. Writing allowed me to identify patterns in my behavior and reflect on past experiences. This process revealed areas of personal growth I had overlooked and gave me a clearer perspective on the person I wanted to be moving forward. Reading became another source of inspiration. I revisited classic novels and self-help books that encouraged introspection and growth. These stories not only entertained me, but also motivated me to continue my journey of self-discovery. In addition, I began meditating daily, focusing on my breath and letting go of tension. Studies highlight that spending time alone can improve creativity, focus, and emotional regulation. I experienced this firsthand, as my newfound solitude allowed me to process emotions more effectively and let go of past regrets. Meditation also helped me become more mindful and present in everyday life, deepening my appreciation for small moments of joy and beauty. Over time, I realized that this mental clarity was a gift. It empowered me to make decisions based on my values rather than external pressures. I felt lighter, more intentional, and deeply content with the life I was creating. Building deeper connections. Ironically, withdrawing from surface-level interactions made me value deeper connections even more. With fewer distractions, I could dedicate time to meaningful conversations with loved ones. I also explored online communities and special interest groups where I felt more understood and supported. By focusing on quality rather than quantity, my social circle became smaller but infinitely more fulfilling. I also found myself reflecting on the value of deeper human connections, realizing that meaningful relationships require effort and intention. With more time and energy at my disposal, I began writing letters and scheduling phone calls with old friends, rekindling bonds that had faded over time. These actions felt far more authentic than the hurried greetings exchanged with neighbors. Joining virtual forums and book clubs gave me access to like-minded individuals, opening doors to conversations that fed my curiosity and personal growth. I even signed up for online courses, learning new skills and sharing ideas with people from all over the world. These deeper engagements not only enriched my social life, but also reignited my passion for lifelong learning. Through this process, I discovered the importance of nurturing relationships that align with my values. Instead of spreading myself thin across superficial encounters, I poured my energy into building lasting bonds that continue to support my emotional well-being. It was a shift that brought clarity, contentment, and a renewed sense of purpose. Addressing loneliness without neighbors. Many people fear that avoiding neighbors might lead to loneliness, but I experienced the opposite. Instead of relying on proximity for socialization, I reached out to old friends and made plans that were genuinely enjoyable. I joined clubs, participated in local classes, and even traveled. The key was intentional connection rather than convenience-based relationships. These deliberate interactions enriched my life far more than obligatory neighborly exchanges ever had. Learning to say no without guilt. One of the hardest parts of this transformation was learning to say no. At first I worried about being judged, but over time I realized that people respect clear boundaries. Saying no allowed me to take control of my schedule and energy. This shift taught me a valuable lesson about prioritizing myself. It's not selfish, it's self-care. As I practiced saying no, I noticed how liberating it felt to reclaim my time. I no longer felt compelled to explain myself or justify my decisions. Instead, I stood firm in my choices, recognizing that my well-being was worth protecting. This newfound confidence extended into other areas of my life, allowing me to pursue activities I had previously put off. I also started incorporating mindfulness techniques to stay grounded when saying no felt challenging. Breathing exercises and mental affirmations helped me remain calm and focused, especially when faced with pushback from others. Over time, these practices strengthened my emotional resilience and made it easier to stand by my boundaries. Learning to say no also created opportunities for intentional living. With fewer obligations, I could focus on activities that aligned with my values. Whether it was spending time with family, volunteering, or pursuing creative hobbies, every moment felt purposeful. This deliberate approach to life not only enriched my experiences, but also deepened my sense of fulfillment. Ultimately, the ability to say no became a form of empowerment. It reminded me that happiness isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about honoring yourself and creating space for what truly matters. The joy of redefining happiness. Happiness often comes from unexpected places. For me, it wasn't about chasing big dreams or achieving milestones. It was about simplifying my life and eliminating unnecessary stress. By stepping away from neighborly obligations, I created space for activities and relationships that truly mattered. I discovered hobbies I had neglected, like painting and gardening, and explored new interests such as photography and birdwatching. These activities not only brought joy, but also reconnected me with the natural world, fostering a sense of wonder and peace. I also prioritized self-reflection, journaling daily to process my thoughts and emotions. This practice gave me clarity about my values and helped me let go of past regrets. The time I spent alone became an opportunity for growth and renewal, enabling me to cultivate gratitude for the small pleasures in life, like a morning cup of coffee on my porch or the sound of rain tapping against the windows. Additionally, I began exploring mindfulness and meditation, which taught me to be present and appreciate the moment. These practices made me more patient and resilient, reinforcing the sense of calm I had been seeking. I found that happiness didn't require grand adventures or big accomplishments. It was hidden in the simple joys of everyday life. By stepping back, I also built deeper bonds with people who enriched my life. I learned to cherish quality over quantity in relationships, focusing on meaningful connections rather than superficial interactions. Most importantly, I reconnected with myself, discovering a strength and contentment I never knew I had. Practical tips for reclaiming your space. If you're considering stepping back from neighborhood interactions, here are some tips to help. 1. Set boundaries. Early, be polite but firm. Let people know you value your privacy. 2. Create physical barriers. Use landscaping, fences, or curtains to create a sense of separation. 3. Schedule quality time. Focus on meaningful relationships and activities you genuinely enjoy. 4. Say no guilt-free. Practice saying no without offering lengthy explanations. 5. Prioritize self-care. Fill your time with hobbies, exercise, and relaxation. 6. Join other communities. Explore online groups or clubs where you feel more aligned. At 65, I learned that happiness doesn't require approval from others. Sometimes it comes from taking a step back and protecting your peace. Avoiding neighbors didn't make me lonely, it made me free. Over the course of this journey, I came to deeply appreciate the value of solitude, and intentional living. My days became more structured, filled with moments that truly nourished my soul. I found joy in simple pleasures, cooking a new recipe, tending to my plants, and taking leisurely walks to admire nature. Each of these activities grounded me and brought a sense of calm I hadn't experienced in years. I also became more in tune with my physical and emotional health. Without the constant need to engage in small talk or meet social expectations, I had the time to listen to my body and prioritize rest. I started practicing yoga and Tai Chi, which not only kept me active, but also strengthened my connection between mind and body. Financially, stepping back from neighborhood obligations saved me money as well. No longer feeling compelled to participate in group events, fundraisers, or dinners, I was able to invest in things that truly mattered, like books, art supplies, and travel experiences. This financial freedom further reinforced my decision to lead a simpler, more meaningful life. If you're feeling drained by social obligations, know that it's okay to prioritize yourself. Happiness isn't about pleasing everyone, it's about finding what truly fulfills you. For me, that fulfillment came when I reclaimed my space and learned to enjoy my own company. By stepping back, I gained clarity, peace, and a newfound appreciation for the beauty of living life on my own terms.